What's up, everybody? We are going to do the first ever website critique. This is something I'm hoping to do a lot more of because there's definitely a lot of sites out there that could probably benefit from this, including some ones that I've done previously. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the site and evaluate it on several different criteria. So we're going to look at how well it's optimized for conversion, the overall layout, speed performance, and mobile compatibility. So we want to check and see how good it is in all four of those areas. And then we're going to make some recommendations and any other observations that we come up with throughout checking it out. So we're going to dive in here and take a look at this first site right now. Alright, thanks for sticking with me. So virtualcareerconsultant.com is the first ever site that we are going to go through and evaluate. Now, this site I actually built myself, and it's from my wife's professional resume writing business. So I figured probably the best way to start out with something like this is to critique myself first. So I'll tell you that I built this site probably at least 5 or 6 years ago now. It was really right when mobile responsive sites were starting to get big. So I built this from scratch. I actually designed it in a PSD and then coded the PSD from scratch. And this is what we ended up with. Did all the mobile responsive stuff myself at the time. So, I mean, some of it's a little bit outdated in terms of the technology, but this is what I ended up coming up with. So, like I said, this is about 5 or 6 years old now, so there's definitely some things that probably need to get changed on it. But there's a lot of things I tried to do as far as like optimizing it for conversions and so forth at the time. So some of the stuff's already done. So anyway, the first thing we're going to do is go over the layout and the messaging and stuff in terms of how that's going to work with conversions and overall usability of the site. Then we are going to go ahead and run a speed test and see just how well it does in the speed area. And then last, we're going to check the mobile performance of it and then kind of wrap it up. So first off, let's talk about the layout. The thing I like about this site is the color scheme. We got the green and the kind of seafoam color scheme going on here. You see we carry that throughout the site in a lot of different places. So I think these two colors play off well with each other. And then it really makes the red pop for when the call to actions are mixed in. So I think that's really good. Right when we come to the page, we get hit with the headline right here. Get noticed, showcase your talents, land your dream job. So that's a pretty good way of playing off the visitors, what they're really looking for. That's pretty much what they want to do if they're looking to get a resume. Is obviously a resume that's going to put their name at the top of the list because it stands out from all the other resumes out there. So we just came up with a couple of these quick hitters to kind of play off what people are already going to be looking for, so that when they get to the page, they know they've come to the right place. And you notice we didn't use a slider here. I did that purposely because usually for my own projects that I care about, I don't use sliders. I really just want to keep the message tightly focused on one thing. In this case, it's getting somebody to buy a resume. So right when you get to the site, we got a couple of the most important benefits of getting a resume. And then right here, we've got the complete resume package information, the pricing, and the order now button. Now, maybe in retrospect, I don't know if you want to have the pricing right there. That might be a good thing to split test because, the $199 price tag might scare some people off before they learn more about the benefits. So that's one thing you could do maybe is change this to like a different call to action, like learn more, something like that. Definitely some more split testing. I think it could go well either way. And it's definitely like visually, I think this is a pretty nice layout to see right when you get to the page. So overall, I think that I did a pretty good job on this. The picture is good. The lady's looking right at you. She's happy. So all that is good. Then right here, we've got some more of the benefits just kind of spelled out a little bit more. Written by a professional. You can get it fast. We care about getting you hired, so probably this text below is almost even a little bit more than what's necessary. I think it's okay, but it's actually kind of wordy. I really like to keep my text as easy to read as possible. So like something like this where it's only 2 lines, Only takes a second to read it. I like that. This even just having the third line there, I think is probably not the best. Here we got some credibility indicators, different publications and stuff where she's been featured at, so that's good. That gives instant credibility right there. When they come to the site, they know they're not dealing with a fly-by-night kind of place, so that's good. Down here, we've got kind of the process, so people know what to expect when they get to the site. And as you can see here, we've got kind of an interactive feature with that too, where you can mouse over these, and each step they'll give you a little more details on how it works. So got that. And of course down here we got samples, so you can actually see examples of some of the resumes. And we did these as screenshots, so you can't just download a Word document and then reformat it yourself. It would take a hell of a lot of work to take a Word document and create one just by looking at this picture. So that's a good way of showing these off without having to actually use the document. So I think this turned out alright. Yeah, I mean, that's about as good as you can do with resume examples, because they're only so impressive. And here we've got some customer feedback. Yeah, I think this is okay. Some of these are a little bit vague. There's not really much to it, not really much here. So I think I'd like to see some more detailed testimonials, maybe a picture of the person if possible. That always helps add a more personal touch to it. But overall, I think the format is okay. And again, call to action, again, reinforcing the resume package, trying to get them to click through to that page. And then down here we've got the footer. I think everything looks pretty clean here. We got a nice unique display on the social button, so that's good. And again, we've got this reinforcing the package, and it's just some links throughout the site. So this looks kind of weird having this and this right next to each other, but this isn't on every page. So on some of the interior pages, it's a little bit different. So if we go through, there's not a ton of pages to this site. We'll just go through and look at it pretty quick. About page. I think we could have probably did a better job on this. Now, if you actually read through the text, it's really written pretty well. But I think it would be better if it was broken up more, and if we had some more imagery in here to make it a little bit more compelling. Probably should have put, oh, yep, see it? We got a broken image right there. I was going to say, I think we should have a picture of her in here because, she's pretty much the product in a way, so kind of important to have that. So this is probably something we'll have to go back and fix, because obviously we don't want to have broken images, and this page looks really plain with no images anyway, because that's a lot of text and no images, and we don't usually like to see that. So just through the resume package here, we've got another nice header. Our resumes get results. Obviously that's what people are looking for when they get a professional resume, is they want to get hired. So when it comes to your career, don't settle for less than the best. We're kind of telling them that, it's worth it to pay a little bit extra to get a really good resume done rather than trying to get a cheap one done, because you get what you pay for. So complete resume package, the same stuff right here again, keeping this towards the top and making it easy for people to order. We got why us, what you get. Here would show you the different items, and you can open these up and see, so you get to see the cover letter, strategic follow-up letter, and the reference sheet. This is all what's part of the package, so that's pretty cool. And then let's see, more testimonials again. So this is kind of like an alternate version of the homepage, and actually you could almost use this as a landing page, because it's pretty much got everything you need. You've got your call to action, some important headlines, and a little bit more information why you should use them, and then what specifically you get with examples. You gotta love that. And then you've got the testimonials again. Oh yeah, that's right. So with this one, the testimonials I think are dynamic, so different ones come up every time. Yep. So the only negative of that is that some of these ones are really small. So obviously, like this one, you get 3 really small ones and leaves a lot of empty space there, and then sometimes you get like really long ones. So I think it looks good overall, but you can kind of get some weird stuff with it because of the differing sizes of them. So I don't know if it's the greatest layout for it, but it's pretty good. And then again, you got the call to action and the footer. So that's the resumes page, similar to the home page or like a landing page. But I think this is laid out pretty well overall. And here we got the blog. This is probably the biggest part of the site because there's actually a ton of blog posts in here. So honestly, I think I did a pretty lazy job setting this page up, and you can see that there's no way to get past these first ones. It's like 5, 10 pages. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So yeah, obviously you can see there's way more than that. There's actually like 50 in here, so there should be some kind of pagination and down at the bottom, so you can see more than 5 results. Otherwise, there's no way to get through to them. Other than you can see a few more on here, but there's actually way more posts than that, and I know that for a fact. So I did a lazy job on that one, and that should probably get fixed. Overall, interior page looks good, but again, there should be some kind of navigation to previous post, next post, or like recent posts or related posts. And we probably want to use the thumbnails in there as well to try to encourage people to be clicking through to other posts on the site so they don't just leave once they read this. And then again, up here, this is really text heavy and could probably use some more imagery as well. For example, I'll probably only really need a couple recent posts and incorporating some imagery in there, since I know all these have featured images. Using those and having those as part of this would probably make it a lot more visually compelling. And then, so I think that would probably be a good way to go with it. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the blog, I would say. Then we got contact. Let's check that out. Okay, it's super basic. Again, this one's probably a little bit lazy. The form, if you look at these fields, they're super small. I'm pretty sure this is a gravity form, because I know a lot of times with the old Bootstrap theme I was using, for whatever reason, it would just make these things really small, and it looks terrible. So again, that was lazy on my part, setting it up like that. It does not look good. And I don't think there's enough information on the page. You can see you've got her address and this right here, and that's pretty much it. I just don't like it at all. Maybe like a picture even would just make it a little bit better or something, but it doesn't have a very personal feel to it. It looks kind of like it was just thrown together haphazardly. So I would actually find the site to be less authentic probably if I came to this contact page about to contact them and then I saw how crappily it was put together. So not a huge fan of that. And actually that's an important part of the site too, really, because there's probably a lot of people who have questions. So important to have a good contact page. I think that's often a little bit overlooked. Obviously you can see I was lazy on it myself. Even though I put a lot of time into this site, I didn't even bother to style these correctly. So that's definitely a big negative there. So let's click into order. Now I just want to note for a second, the way we set up this nav is pretty cool, because the order button is really stands out. So no matter where you are on the site, the nav is sticky, and this order button is always going to be super easy and prominent. So I really like that about this site. Here we've got the ordering page. Again, kind of just the same stuff as before. We got a couple more samples, so you can look through the different options there, and then payment options. So if we click add to cart, let's just see what happens. Feels a little slow to load. Again, this is kind of lazy. You've got the default WooCommerce button styles. Okay, so I've got an item in my cart. Now let's say I put an item in my cart and then I go back to the contact page. Yep, see, so that's a problem right there. There's no way to get back to the shopping cart. It's a huge issue. Let's go to proceed to checkout and just make sure these pages look okay. Yeah, this all looks pretty good. So let's just try it. Again, you can see some of these form fields are not correct. That's lazy on my part. Again, let's proceed to PayPal and see if it actually works. It appears to be working. Yep, looks good. Okay, so PayPal works. Okay, so at least that works. The cart works, but these buttons should be styled correctly. This isn't styled correctly either. That color should match. And most importantly, there is no button to view your cart. So if for some reason you go somewhere else during the ordering process, you're not going to be able to get back there unless if you go back and click the order button again, and then you have to add it to cart again, and then you're going to have two of the same thing in your cart, so you have to update it. So that is not good user experience at all. Definitely not happy with the way that turned out. And then just one last thing I noticed down here. it looks as if there's white space at the bottom if the page doesn't go far enough. That's also just lazy. You should never have white blank space like that. There's just no reason for it, because really all we would have to do is just make the background the same color as this part right here, and then anything below this, even if it was stopped up here, the rest would just be black, and that's pretty much the way it should be, and it's not on this one. So that's a pretty big issue there. But overall, I would say this site is really on message, and it could use a little more information. I think particularly on the ordering page. There's probably some ways we could jazz this up a little bit. Maybe at least throw like a testimonial in here, or some of the more of the benefits or something like that, to really try to get them to click this button. But other than that, I think the site is really focused on moving them towards the order page, and we did a good job of that, and really laying out the benefits and how the whole stuff works and stuff right when you get to the site. So there's not really a lot of ambiguity there. So that is all good. Alright, let's head over to GTmetrix and run an analysis of it. Let's see what we come up with. Okay, actually, that could take a minute. I probably should have just did that ahead of time. I don't know why I did that. All right, let's take a look at the mobile version, because that we can do a little bit faster. So I use this really cool tool called Browser Stack, and this will let you emulate what stuff really looks like on all different kind of devices. This is super useful for testing websites, and we're going to pull this site up on mobile and have a look at it and see how it looks. Alright, so let's open up Safari and get this out of here. Okay, there we go. So if you're on the iPhone 7, this is actually what it looks like. Now you can see we have a different background photo on the hero, right, when you get to the site. And the reason I did that is because I couldn't get this lady's face to fit good on mobile. So once we got too low, once it got cut off too far, then I just switched it to this kind of like random background picture. So that's the reason for that. I think that worked out okay. Right when you get to the site, obviously you see the same important stuff again, right, featured at the top without having to scroll, so I like that a lot. You can see that we actually took out those these things and these credibility indicators. I think the credibility indicators you don't really need as much on mobile, although retrospect we probably could have those in there. These ones, we couldn't figure out a good way to make this JavaScript work on mobile easily, so we just left that out, and I think that's fine. Let's take a look and see how this works when you click on it. Actually, that looks pretty good. So it actually sizes nicely in the light box. You can still get a pretty good idea of what everything says. And there's still enough room where you can scroll on the page pretty easily, so that is all good. Testimonials look good. Call to action, again, kind of weird having that same one twice right there. So, I don't know, maybe that's an issue. And then the footer. Okay, so that all looks good. Let's check the menu. I think the look of the hamburger menu is pretty cool, actually. I don't even remember how I did that, but I think that's pretty cool. Oops. Well, we know it works, don't we? Well, now I enlarged it, so yikes. Let's see if we can. Oh God. Okay, I don't really know how to get out of that. Oh brother. All right. Well, let's just. Okay, that's like partially better. Alright, so as you can see, the menu drops down like this. You can barely see it because I did something weird with the screen size, but it's a pretty simple menu, so nothing too special. Let's go check the resumes page out. We know what the about page looks like, so it's going to be a pretty lousy phone experience. This one, I think I did a lazy job on as well. You can see a lot of it looks really shitty on the phone, so it's a good thing we checked this one, because obviously I did not check it myself. So what I would probably say is hide this picture. It's just, there's not a good way of making it look that great on mobile, because part of it's just not meant for it. So So I would start with just that. Scrolling is a bitch sometimes on here. So yeah, the letter text sizes are all screwed up on here. This should be larger than this. So this is all messed up. When you first get to this page, it should just be these things right here, no picture, and these fonts need to be correctly sized. Oops, god dang. Other than that, and then of course this green call to action area is totally screwed as well. So if you were sending traffic to this page, that would be a huge mistake, because the first thing you even see when you open this page on a mobile device is a bunch of screwed up stuff that's not formatted well. So really just not good at all. Otherwise the rest of it's okay. The font size and spacing is good and stuff, and you can see everything pretty well. But the initial part is messed up. Let's just check the good lord. Yeah, that's the only thing about this thing, is it sometimes is a little bit tricky. Let's just check the ordering page out, because that's the other most important page on the site. So font size is okay here. I think this is a little bit large probably for what you need. Gosh, I wish I could get this scrolling working a little bit. Yeah, okay, this all looks pretty good. Sizing is good. I would like to get this down to 2 lines maybe, so maybe make that a little bit smaller. Otherwise, everything else is perfect. You can see the secure payment thing. So just quick check the cart and make sure that that looks good. Of course, again, it's definitely worth noting that there's no way to actually get to the cart, so we need to have a cart button in the menu, which really would not be hard to do. And then, yeah, so overall it looks pretty good. Let's just let's check it on a Google Nexus 6, an older device. Let's see how it looks on that, just to see on the Android device what kind of result you're going to get. Oh, that's crazy. I've never seen that before. Alright. Okay, this all looks good. Oops, let me go back up there. Yeah, I don't know what you could really do there. If you took a little padding off the sides, that would take that awkward one thing out, but otherwise it's not the end of the world. So yeah, I think overall this pretty much is about the same as what you're going to get on an iPhone. So at least it's consistent. Let's just check it on an iPad and see how it looks on a tablet. Because sometimes tablets can give you different results. Sometimes the site might not be correctly optimized. So we'll just have to see. I really have no idea, to be honest with you, what we're going to get when we open this up. Okay, so you still get the, let's see, does this turn it? Okay. Okay, so you get the other picture. Otherwise, the rest of this looks okay. I wonder how these work on tablet. Oh, if you click it, it works. Okay, so that's not bad then. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, tablet looks pretty good on this. So, overall, actually, mobile experience is really good. It was just that one resumes page. There was some formatting, and that's all just some pretty simple CSS changes in the text that only would take somebody a couple minutes who knows what they're doing. So, not a big deal with that. So, yeah, overall, I would give this, I don't know, a B plus probably on mobile. Pin it all. All right, let's see what we got here. Page performance score is a E, Y slow score is a D. That doesn't surprise me. Fully load time 2.5 seconds, actually not bad. So I don't know. And then total page size, that's a pretty low page size compared to a lot of what you see these days. So that's actually not bad either. So you see, the main thing is that they're pissed off about is caching and serving scaled images. Both of those could probably be addressed super easily just by enabling a caching plugin. That would take like 5 minutes, and then we might be able to use an image optimization plugin to take care of that image optimization. Tough to really say without digging in there, but I think we probably could. So even though this is a really low score right now, I think just with about 20 minutes of work, we could probably bring that up to at least a C, if not a B, which is going to be, right where you want to be. I don't think you need to invest any major amount of money into trying to make this any better. So, yeah, overall, I'd say that's pretty good. So, as far as improvements go, I would definitely recommend fixing the resumes page. The number one priority for this site is getting a cart button or even a link on here. It could just be a link like view cart. I would probably rather see a cart icon, but it doesn't really matter. It needs to be there though, because that's just a bad practice otherwise. Aside from that, I think everything pretty much looks good here. It wouldn't be bad to put something else in the spot, even though I personally think this looks good, obviously, because I designed it, and at the time I really thought this was the shit, but it is kind of awkward having these both right next to each other. Another thing that I noticed that, you might not notice is that the text here is on the image, and the text here is actual text. So you can see this is a lot crisper than this one and this one too. It's really not that much harder to have text-based buttons here. So again, this was about 6 years ago, and this was a little bit more common, but at the same time, it was still lazy of me to do it like that. So I would still like to see that be a regular text button, but that's not a huge priority. Then on mobile, I would definitely want to get this resumes page fixed on mobile, because I would say this is a pretty critical page to the site. And like I said, you could almost use this as a landing page or duplicate this and mess around with it a little bit to make it into a good landing page. So I would like to definitely get this optimized. And again, that would probably be a pretty small job of just tweaking some text and stuff on mobile and making sure all the line spacing and stuff is correct. So no big deal at all. Then moving over to the blog, definitely want to do some work here by adding the pagination, and then maybe thinking of some more compelling stuff we could put in the sidebar just to make this a little bit more inviting. This would also be a good place to add like an opt-in for a mailing list or something like that. That's something this site is lacking in, and I don't think it would hurt to have it. And I know she actually does have a mailing list too, so not really sure why we don't have that on there. That's another thing we could actually put right here as well. Let's see. And then same on the blog, single pages. Kind of some wasted space down here, not really having anything. Usually at the end of the post, you want to have some more stuff to kind of move people to another part of the site rather than just giving them nowhere to go when they reach the end of the post. So definitely want to see something with that. And then these headings, I think you could do the images here instead of just a solid color. Maybe extend them down to about here, and then have some kind of just plain image and bring this down a little bit just to make it a little bit more interesting, especially like on this about page. This is a pretty plain page, so any kind of imagery you can get in here is going to jazz it up quite a bit. Contact page, it's not a huge deal, but I think we could do a few things to make this look better. Even maybe put some more social buttons here. Make this form look a little bit better in uniform. A nicer button. That's just so you can see there's no effort put into that button at all. So it wouldn't take much. And then maybe like a little bit of verbiage or something. I'll probably take a look at a couple other contact pages that I like just to get some ideas, and then just spruce that up a little bit. But I think it would be worth spending a little bit of time on it since the site doesn't have many pages, and it definitely needs some action here. And then last, in the shopping cart, I would say definitely fix this button, fix this, and otherwise I think the shopping cart worked pretty well, so I'm good with that. So that's about it. And then the last thing would be to work on the site speed. Again, I think that would be a small job, maybe 30 minutes or so, just to get a couple things done. Increase the page speed, a couple letter grades, and get the site going as fast as possible. So overall, even though I built this one and I'm prejudiced, I actually kind of thought before I looked at it, because I haven't looked at this site in like probably 2 years, but I thought I was going to end up rating this one a lot lower. But it's actually really pretty well built, even being built like 5 or 6 years ago. It's still pretty relevant today, and they're optimized well for conversions. Obviously, there's stuff you can still test, but optimized pretty well for conversions. Works solidly well on mobile, better than I was expecting, and the speed's really not bad. I mean, it looks worse than it is. You got A's on just about everything here, so it's really only a couple things that they're bugging you on, and I think both of these could be fixed really easily. So, yeah, I would probably overall give this site a B plus. There's a few things I would change, a few like lazy, sloppy things that are my own fault. But overall, this site is ready. You could run ads to this right now. Other than making sure you tweak the mobile before running mobile ads, this site is good to go. So very little needs to be done, just a few tweaks here and there, and I think it's perfect. So that's it on this one. Guys, thanks for sticking with me. It was actually pretty fun doing that. I'm looking forward to reviewing a lot more sites. That one went a little bit longer than I was expecting. That was about 30 minutes, and I would really like to get it down to about 10 minutes per site at the most, because I'm hoping I can get a decent amount of these to review. And it'll probably be easier when I'm doing ones that I didn't actually build myself, because I know a lot about the site and how it was built. It'll be a little bit different when I don't know the site and I'm viewing it for the first time, just like anybody else would when they first visit the site. But overall, I still think it went pretty well. We were able to uncover some things that needed to be fixed, and some ways that we can improve the site overall and make some good recommendations. So thank you for sticking with me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.